What's up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Heelverse Show. I'm your boy Heel called Michael, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And this episode is wrestling related. Now, for the past couple of days, I have not uploaded any brand new episode of Heel Thoughts, and also I have not uploaded recent episode of Heelverse. But right now, I'm giving it to y'all since I came back from a little break, and also it is a mental health awareness, and also I got to spend time with my family. So therefore, new episode of Heal Thoughts will be dropping later on this week. So we got a lot of topic to discuss. The first thing I want to talk about is the online bullying of Will Cruz. Will Cruz had debuted in NXT not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago. This last week, he will try to get a shot for NXT Championship in the near future. He cut a good promo, and the fans will slowly get used to of him. But earlier, when he was debuting, those fans was really being a damn bully. I mean, they make fun of this man's size. They call him all kind of names, and the online was no help. They call this man Ham Bigelow, a lesbian coach. They make fun of this man weight because if you're a purist like me, you knew who this man is. Now, the first time I saw this man, he wrestled in Noah not too long ago. I think it was last year, or I think it was early this year for Noah when they had their show, and I see him. And I'm like, okay, this dude can wrestle. He can move like an old school Big Van Vader. He move around like Bam Bam Bigelow. Either he was in ECW or WCW. But when I saw him the first time, I didn't know who he was because back then he had a mullet. But since he had a haircut and came on with a brand new look, then I know, okay, that's the guy from Progress. That's the guy who wrestled in Noah. And I was happy for him. I really was. But if you don't know who he is, then you start bullying this man, you'll start throwing names in which is foul. Because it's bad enough that, wrestlers who going through everyday lives, try to please us, and and it take a not only a physical toll, but a mental toll. Because Rhea Ripley, she going through some things with the eating disorder. That's why she lost some weight because the whole back thing. And Gunther, he got teased for being fat in the backstage when Vince McMahon was around. So they're going through a lot. And with Vince McMahon and pretty much all online people who criticize the body, that's bullying. And then not only that, the toxic community of the IWC, it makes it worse. So I hope the fans will stop bullying this man and turn the fans around and make him join his side and pretty much appreciate what you do, because I'm a big fan of him. And be honest, I wish Will nothing but the best in NXT. I know he will kill it, and for damn sure he gonna become the NXT champion no time soon. From the champions to a legend, uh, earlier this month, Hiroshi Tenzan have announced his retirement, and his final match will take place in a G1 Climax 36 semifinal that would take place in August 15th, 2026. And I feel like he can go, but he have issues with his knees and with his lower back. And to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of his work in New Japan. And the first time I saw him in New Japan when he was a part of the NWO, the earlier days in the NWO, Team NWO Japan. Back then, when Scott Norton was IWGP Heavyweight Champion, when he held the Version 2 title. That's what got my first introduction to WCW, not WCW, New Japan. And he had held the IWGP Heavyweight Championship multiple times. And he also well known being a great tag team champion for a good while. And that's what I know him for. I know him being a New Japan guy. Well, also he have other careers as well, and you see him wrestle everywhere. Like he wrestled in WCW for a good brief moment. He had wrestled other promotions as well, like CWA, and he worked his way up. And also he wrestled in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and also in WA. But if you look back his career, he had a wonderful career, and he mostly known for being a New Japan guy. As he won the tag team tournaments, he had won G1 Climax, he had won IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and also he survived through the infamous Nokiism. That's where when Antonio Inoki hired some MMA fighters to come to the New Japan, and half the damn their roster got their ass beat. But but he has some great moments over there, great moments in New Japan, and he's a legend. And also he never stepped foot in WWE. Because I know people say, well, he never stepped foot in WWE. Well, he don't have to. So once he retired, he will go down probably the long list of the greats who ever stepped foot in the square circle. Either NWA, New Japan, or either he's in NWO or any other factions. I can remember he was part of. I believe he was part of GBH, uh, Great Bash Heels, I believe. But other than that, this guy, he been in some great matches, great moments, and he compete for other titles as well, like the Never Openweight Championship. But he didn't win that one. But most importantly, Tenzai is one to go. So seeing him retire, to me, to be honest, I feel like he can go. But it's time for him to hang the boots up. Through the health wise. Um, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I would definitely be watching not only G1 Climax, but seeing his final match. And speaking of WCW, this past couple of days ago, the late great Ted Turner passed away at the age of excuse me, at the age of 87. This man who is responsible give us 24 hours news, the CNN news, and also, I kid you not, this man responsible for two things in our childhood life, and also give birth to one of the greatest promotion of all time. He gave us Cartoon Network. Yes, the same man who created WCW, the same man who created CNN, he gave us Cartoon Network. So we had to give him much, much flour. Because if it wasn't for Cartoon Network, there would be no Captain Planet. There would be no Kids Next Door. For damn sure, there wouldn't be no marathons of Dragon Ball Z. And of course, there wouldn't be Toonami or Adult Swim. So if it wasn't for Ted Turner, there wouldn't be those great channels we'd be watching. And also, he gave us WCW, World Championship Wrestling, and he wanted to make a pro wrestling show as Vince McMahon wanted to make a sports entertainment. And not only that, he created TBS and TNT. So he pretty much changed the game of television. And when you look at WCW, the legacy of WCW, it was a game changer. Now, when you think of WCW, you think about Eric Bischoff and the NWO. But if you look deep of the history of WCW, back then it was NWA slash WCW, and they were very popular. They were really, really popular, but they didn't hit the mainstream until I believe around during the Monday Night War, or when the Monday Night Nitro goes live. Because you look back at it, WCW was around, but it wasn't taken seriously until later on. Because the first time I watched WCW, it was '97. That's during the time when NWO was well established. Sting was a crow Sting, and the cruiserweight was already established at that time. And the first time I watched WCW was Nitro. And I never forget it. It was Lex Luger against Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And I remember I had to stay up late to watch it because I was staying in Japan, Yokota Air Force Base, and they showed Nitro on Saturday night, hella late, because at the time TNT and TCM, Turner Classic Movies, I'm showing my age, they were pretty much merged together. So you gotta wait, you gotta stay up late to watch WCW Nitro. But that's the first time I got introduced to WCW, and man, oh man, I do miss WCW, and not only that, I do wish that fans give WCW their credit because if you look at every single wrestling event, TNA or WWE, they always chant ECW. I've never heard anybody else chanting WCW. Never. They always chant ECW. They chant "suck it." They chant what any other chant you can think of, but they never chant WCW. And the importance of WCW, they made WWE look scared. They got WWE shook because Monday Night Nitro was kicking Raw butt cheeks every single night. It was 82 or 83 weeks. They be doing that because they give you a great match. The storyline is grounded, and of course the cruiserweight. Even though ECW or AAA, CMLL, they introduced us to cruiserweight way before ECW. Even though they did introduce Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Humberto Guerrero in the US to introduce the talent, but WCW brought them up into the front fort. And look back at it, we got the NWO, which is the greatest thing ever, and of course we got Goldberg. But we really think about it, WCW was everything. And I look back at some matches, back in the day, watching classic matches for Demon Linko against Rey Mysterio, um, watching the WCW Hardcore Championship with Norman Smiley and Terry Funk and Haku back in the day, or Ming, depending on which version you like the most. And of course, the crazy matches for WCW, like um, the War Game, well, a Triple Cage War Game match, and they aired that on Monday Night Nitro back in 2000. So it just show you how much of a fan I am. But I feel like WCW deserves some praise. And another part is, and if WWE is going to have a Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure they might do this. I'm wondering if Ted Turner will get inducted to Hall of Fame. Now, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, likely in the media Hall of Fame or TV Hall of Fame. Um, I'm not sure he got the Walk of Stars uh, in the Hollywood. I'm not sure he got it or not, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because one, he gave us great network. He gave us great channels. He gave us Cartoon Network. Also, he gave us WCW. So I feel like he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame no matter what. Despite of, what other WWE fans think of or despite of how they feel about him. But if you're a true person, either you're in the TV business or you're a WCW fan or you're just a wrestling fan through and through, you gotta give Ted Turner his props. Same thing with Todd Gordon, who helped ECW, but Paul Heyman ran ECW to the promised land, sort of. So, so I believe Ted Turner deserves his flower and he deserves his shine to be in the Hall of Fame. And the main event, and which is a good segue, we got to talk about Hall of Fame. Now, this is a question I thought about, and I got this idea while watching an MVP podcast, as someone asked Shelton Benjamin this question: do you need to become a world champion to be in Hall of Fame? And Shelton Benjamin, he said, no, you don't need to be a world champion to be a Hall of Fame because there's lots of greats who step into Hall of Fame and never win the chip. And I thought about it, and it was a good answer, and I respect Shelton Benjamin answer. But for me and people who watch Embrace the Thirst, which we are working on bringing it back, um, I always say this: you ain't shit without the chip. And I felt strongly about it. Not only in pro wrestling, but in the world of sports. Because you gotta think about it. Plenty of people step foot in the Hall of Fame. Of any Hall of Fame you could think of, who become the champion. Either you're in the FIFA World Cup, you're in the World Series, NBA, Stanley Cup, no matter what. Once you win the chip, you'll likely be in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure there's a plenty of future Hall of Famers it is shoe in the Hall of Fame. Steve Curry, LeBron James, Damon Green. Should you name them, they're in it. And I feel like once you become the world champion, I feel like people respect you, and I feel like the society respect the champions. But sometimes they put it this way: in the world of pro wrestling, when we look at a Hall of Famer, and I could give you two great examples. Scott Hall. Well, I'm gonna give you three: Scott Hall, Owen Hart, and let's give a take uh, AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a multiple time world champion. He had won the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, TNA Champion, IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and of course WWE Champion. And you look at his career is, no pun intended, phenomenal. And his character, his matches, you can look back and you can say, no matter what, he is the GOAT. Then you look at Razor Ramon, multiple time WCW Tag Team Champion, US Champion, Television Champion, Intercontinental Champion. But he had never won the WWE Champion. He had never won the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And he even stepped foot in ECW, but he never won that title too. So with that part. So with that being said, I look at other legends like Owen Hart, who had never won the world title, but he had won the Intercontinental Championship. He had won the European title, the tag team titles. He pretty much won title away of being the Grand Slam champion. But also, he never been in the Hall of Fame too. I just thought about that. But he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame no matter what. But he have never won the world title. Another good example who never win the world title, but he in the Hall of Fame. Let's look at the NBA. Allen Iverson and Derrick Rose. I believe those two being, well, I believe one of them being Hall of Fame, I believe. But they put up records. They being a NBA, well, excuse me. Allen Iverson being in the NBA Finals, but he never win the championship. Derrick Rose, he been a player, but he never win the championship as well. But they got so much respect from the peers and the crowd. They respect him, even though they never win the championship. They love him so much. I could think of another one, Carmelo Anthony. Even though he was a cover of NBA 2K20s, not 26, but NBA 26, I believe, last year. He got a cover, but he never won the championship. But like I say, his peers and his hard work got him the cover, and likely he'd be in the Hall of Fame. Compared to Dennis Rodman, who's a great defensive player who have won multiple championships, not only in the Detroit Pistons, but also the great Chicago Bulls. He is an NBA World Champion. And the craziest part is he's in the WWE Hall of Fame for wrestling in WCW and being a part of the NWO as well. So, so with that, it's kind of asking yourself a question: do you need to become the world champion to be in the Hall of Fame? I would have to say it depends on your career. For me personally, I say yes because I feel like you deserve more praise. You deserve more respect if you become the world champion. That's just my opinion. But if you got a great career, so beloved, so inspiring, it doesn't matter you're a champion or not. That's what other people will think of. Me, I feel like you deserve to become the champion because if people will remember you for a very long time in either sports you could think of, and I can give you more examples of it. But I just feel like I just feel like you're in the Hall of Fame. I feel like you should be respected one way or another, and that's my that's my thoughts about it. That's my opinions about it. I know other people have different thoughts about it as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and hope you guys give me your thoughts. I hope you guys leave a comment and give your tell me what you think about the topics I talked about, either from Hall of Fame, the legacy of WCW, and Ted Turner, and tell me what you think about Tenzin career. So so that's the show. Like I said earlier, I will be posted up Heel Thoughts episode later this week. I got a plethora of topic to talk about. And I can't wait to do some more Heelverse Show because I have a lot of topics to talk about that as well. So that's the show. I hope you guys enjoy your wonderful evening. I'm your boy Heel called Michael. Till then, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.